I'm Dr. Lori, and I'm back with another unboxing. That's right, it's exciting. So we're going to share an unboxing of a ThredUp box with Deborah from Timeless Jewel by Deborah. Hey, Deborah, how you doing?
I'm doing really great. How are you?
I'm great, I'm great. So what have we got? So let me ask a couple of questions before we even get started. I know you've got a box that we're going to go through. It's from ThredUp. It's a 15-piece, is that right?
Correct.
You've already opened this box up, or you haven't gone through it, but you've actually slid it open.
Correct.
Okay. And a couple of things. This is not a paid advertisement, of course. Can people purchase these pieces through you at Timeless Jewel by Deborah, and where?
They can. I sell on YouTube, but I am on eBay and Etsy and Shop Thrilling. I sell vintage on Shop Thrilling.
Okay, great. Well, super. So let's see what we've got. It's exciting. And we'll see what kind of eras in there. How much did you pay for the box?
It's about $53 with tax.
So that includes shipping and tax?
Correct.
All right, cool. So
yes, and they're a more curated box.
Okay, let's see.
It's a little bit,
so we can really see
it's a little bit different than like the Goodwill Blueboxes that you get, or even the ThredUp 5 pounds. These are more hand-picked. And usually they're in newer condition. Oh, this is promising. Let me grab my glasses because, you know, we're getting a little older here. This is it says a 1/4 carat diamonds. And
you got to hold it up. Can't see it. We want to see it. All right. So it says it's a 1/4 carat total weight diamonds. Okay, well, a 1/4 carat is not very much for all of those.
Correct.
Right? Not that much. A 1/4 carat is, if you think of a 1/4 carat, very, very tiny. Okay. All right, well, that's an attractive piece. I have to say it looks like the 1980s, 90s to me in terms of that sort of repeated pattern of sort of the leaf pattern all the way. I like it. Is it marked in terms of the fineness mark for the metal? I know I didn't even give you a chance to get it out of the box yet. So.
Yeah, that's okay. I've got my loop from you.
Yep. Loops can be purchased at drloriv.com. Go to our specials and shop page. I get compensation when you buy a loop. But the reason why I want you to have it, it's a magnification, 10 times, 30 times magnification. And I want you to be able to see these pieces because once you see through the loop, it's going to open a whole new world and you're not going to miss anything. It's a money magnet.
Correct.
All right. Anyway, everybody loves my loop. I love my loop too.
I love your loops. I have one in my purse and in every spot in my workroom.
Well, it's helpful, right?
They're fantastic. I don't see any marking offhand, but I will
have to hold it up so we can see where you're looking for the marking. So there looks like there's a tag on it.
Correct. It doesn't say sterling silver or gold or anything.
You're still too low, darling. You got to hold them up. There we go. There we go.
Yeah. So, look here.
Yeah.
And I always look here in the front and on the safety clasp.
Yeah, and then usually another place to look is if you have a link like that bracelet, I want you to look in the first 3. There's a couple of places that I like folks to look when they're looking for marks. Now, the obvious places, of course, I've talked about this a lot, is the clasp itself. But also, if you've got these pieces, I'm going to use this bracelet just as an example. This is a little Napier bracelet. If you got links, you have a lot of links on yours. Hold up yours so we can see the links. Okay, you can see the links of each of those pieces. They look like little, leaves to me. If you turn the piece over, yes, you're going to look on the clasp, right? Just like Deborah was saying. Sure, look on the clasp, look on both sides of the safety clasp, but also look 1, 2, 3 links. Usually there might be a mark on those 3 first links. There might be a mark in the middle link of the bracelet. So the bracelet's this in the middle link, right? And then also you might find it on the last one. But oftentimes the 3 that are closest to the clasp, you might find a mark if it's not on the clasp. Right in the middle might have a maker's mark or a fineness mark, and usually it's not here, on the last one. All right. So now it says that it's 1/4 carat total weight. Usually they're going to put that into a relatively good metal, or it's going to be, of course, gold plated. So looks pretty good to me. In terms of it, for your $53 investment, I would say retail value, the 1980s sort of come back, that idea of the repeated form. I'd say value on that easily $200, $250.
Wow.
So you're going to do pretty well right out of the chute with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have the next one, which is
the next one from the Yes Gallery.
Yes.
All right. Well, I
Stretchy
like the
bracelets.
beads and I like the iridescence of the beads, right?
Yes,
I like the fact that now they look like pretty good glass beads. Can we see one at a time?
correct. And they are Lily and Laura, which is a uh,
They're a fun
namaste.
manufacture. You know, they're kind of fun pieces, sort of.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like those. And back
Yep.
up a little bit for me so we can see the whole piece. There we go. That's nice. Very Art Deco. Very
Right.
Art Deco in the 1920s, and it's repeated in what's called the Art Moderne of the 1940s.
Great.
So I like that. And it goes right on. Now, does it actually move when it goes on? Like, does it twist a little?
It does twist, but it's for a teeny tiny arm.
Okay, so it won't get on my wrist. I don't know. What
No.
am I, a 7 probably? You know?
No,
Okay.
mine either. I'm a 7 as well.
Okay. Would you sell them together?
Yeah, I might because they can get.
No, really? Would you? I would not sell them together.
Yes, I was thinking that because of the blue in the center one.
Okay, so you're seeing them as a group, as a set.
Correct.
They're by the same maker, manufacturer, designer, but not really a set. The colors, if they had a particular scheme that sort of went together or they were all the same, then you could say,
Right.
I've got 3 of these bracelets. But I would say all 3 of those, I would say you probably could get about $65 if you were to sell them as a set. And I think individually, you probably could get, you know, maybe $20, $25 a piece. Now, some of them are going, oh, no, but in the right environment,
Correct.
right? And if you connect it with the right piece of fashion. So some of you are selling clothing and the jewelry.
Correct.
You know, so if you sort of put that together, you might be able to do pretty well based on that color. I do like those beaded bracelets, though.
They are pretty.
I think they're pretty. I think they're fun. Do you sell a lot of them?
I do sell a lot of colorful items.
Yeah,
for
of
sure.
colorful items, just in general for color.
In general, especially
Are there-
vintage.
Are there certain vintage color items that sell better? Like certain colors that sell better? Do you see? Like, for example, in glass, you see a lot of cobalt does well.
Cobalt.
Cobalt does well.
Cobalt does great, and Aurora borealis with like a clear.
Yeah, the multi-tone, of course. So then I would say that in just having that conversation, the blue beaded one is worth more than the other 2.
Right. Great.
Yeah. So you got to sell them individually.
Correct.
Okay, let's see what else we got.
All right. So the third piece is really heavy. So I believe right off the bat, it is not sterling silver. It is a bracelet. It is.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about weight when it comes to these materials. So you said, I don't think it's sterling silver right off the bat because it's too heavy. So one of the ways that you can tell if something is silver plated has to do with the base metal. So the metal that's underneath the electroplating sheets of silver, right? So silver plating, of course, over another metal. The metal that's typical would be copper. There are also some other base metals that are used, but copper has a little bit of weight.
Right.
More so than sterling silver. Also, it doesn't have the same sort of sheen. Now, it's got that very characteristic Coach logo.
I believe it is. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, so when I talk about vintage purses or, of course, information about, particular brands like Coach, Coach became in the 1980s this sort of affordable luxury brand. It was a very, very amazing and smart marketing tool that they did. And then they moved into this idea of using their logo and bringing their logo up to sort of the logo designs of firms like Chanel, right? So this particular piece, goes into the into the really more so you see them more commonly in the early 21st century or the 2000s when you have, of course, the pocketbooks or the purses that have all the C's on them, the Coach logo. Because the Coach brand goes back to 1941. It's an old established brand. However, we think of it as a 1980s sort of accessories brand. Yes. That piece looks pretty nice. Now, is the Coach name on the interior?
Yes, it is. It is on the inside.
Because there are fakes, right?
Correct.
So you want to make sure that you do have that as well. And you can see, of course, this more modernized Coach logo dates that piece into the 21st century. Well, that's good. So you can see that it is that. Now, it's not two-tone. It's all silver all the way around. And it's a continuous bangle, right?
It is hinged.
Oh, it's hinged. I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
That's okay. It looks like, you know what? It looks like it's hinged, but there's like a button on here. So
There's a button. So actually when it closes, it clicks, right?
it must.
And that's a good thing. The hinge is fine as long as the hinge is strong and the pin is good, right?
Correct.
You want to make sure the pin is good. It's not sticking out, right? So you want to make sure the hinge is good. So that looks like it's good. How about scratches or abrasions?
Actually, it's in really good condition.
Good. It looks pretty good. So maybe that's the benefit. Hold it up a little higher for me. Yeah, that's the benefit, of course, of the curated box from ThredUp, right? So this is when you're saying, hey, you know what? I'll spend a little bit of extra money versus the Goodwill Bluebox or some of the other things that I find. Correct. Because I know I'm going to sort of go faster from buying it in bulk to my marketplace.
Correct.
Right? And that's an important thing for resellers too. Okay. All right.
All right. Well, here's the next piece.
Oh, so value on the Coach piece. So, what would you put a value on it? And then I'll tell you what I think it's worth.
I would sell it for probably 55.
Okay. I think you probably could get 75.
Okay.
And again, timing is going to be important. Correct. And if you were to, of course, unite it with a vintage Coach purse.
I have plenty of those.
I know. Most of you guys do. So, that's never a bad idea. Now, some people would say, well, I don't want to sell the Coach purse at this point. But, as we can put something together the same way that designers put outfits together, that might be a way to get a little bit more. But even if you didn't have a Coach purse with it, I think you're in the $65 to $75 range. I think 55 might be a little bit low. Good, great.
All right.
So we made back your money and then some. Okay, yes, so this is Brighton's.
Correct. Yep. And the thing I like about the ThredUp is usually they will mark it on the outside of the bag, which is nice.
What do you mean by mark it, Deborah?
They will write on the bag here, Brighton.
Oh, so they'll help you? So you got to make sure they're correct, though.
Correct.
Sometimes these curators are not correct, so you got to make sure it's correct. So you got to check it yourself, right? You can always check it with me. You can always send a picture to drloriv.com, right? I'll look at those pieces for you. Oh, that's nice.
It is.
So
it's very
southwestern feel, right?
Correct.
Yeah, got that southwestern feel with sort of the turquoise color and of course the silver color. So it looks like it's wrapped, and then it comes around with the metal. Okay. Oh, and it just looks like that.
Right, and this is metal, and this here is like a waxed string,
leather, maybe a waxed vinyl.
Yeah, maybe a leather.
Maybe a leather. Okay, well, it's nice. Yeah, and then it just opens like that, and then the waxed sort of textile part of the leather, the hide part, kind of sits there, and then it has sort of that alligator or snake skin feel design. Yeah, especially where your hand is, where it's sort of like the top of the hook, the top of it is like a little button.
Right. Yep.
Where, right there. Yeah. So you can see, of course, it looks like it has that idea of not only an animal hide, but maybe like a snake skin in silver.
Right.
I like that. I think that's nice. But I like Native American pieces or pieces that represent the southwestern motifs. Right?
Correct.
So that's a nice piece. Brighton's pieces are popular. Is it marked on the silver portion at the back?
Yes, it is. It has their classic B.
Okay, great. A classic B with the heart, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So I actually had dinner with the folks who run Brighton's one night. I was on a cruise ship. They're a very interesting couple. An interesting story of how they started their firm, in fact, as a young couple. In the 70s, early 80s. It was very fascinating what they did to actually establish it. Established, of course, in California and continue to have, stores and brands all over. She was the wife was extremely fashionable and a nice person. So it was fun to meet them. Let's see what else we got. I was on a cruise ship, as a matter of fact.
Oh, how fun. Okay.
Yeah, we went to the museum together. It was fun.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Okay, let's see this.
It looks like a J.Crew piece to me.
Right away, it looks like a J.Crew piece. A couple of reasons why. First of all, the enamel work is pretty good. Also, that form is something that we see with J.Crew often. Is it marked?
Yes, it is. It has the hang tag, and you can tell by their clasp as well.
Yeah, their clasp is pretty identifiable for the time period, but we always like to have, of course, the logo tag. You
Correct.
know, people like signatures, people like marks. And I think it can go sort of formal or informal. I could see it with jeans and a t-shirt, and I can see it also marketed as dressing something up.
Right.
Do you think?
I love it. Yeah, I like this kind of style. It really seems to be really popular right now, at least in my online stores.
Okay. I definitely go 50, 60 bucks on that.
Okay, that
I
sounds
like
great.
that a lot. And it looks like it's in good shape, and it looks like the clasp is working well.
Yes.
The enamel work is very important. You know, it's like coloring in the lines, right? So you want to make sure that you are coloring in the lines, right?
Correct.
When you see the enamel work on top, of course, of the metal. That's nice. I like that.
Okay, and this one's a fun one. The thing I like about this is you can get so many different kind of styles. This is like a plastic, a lucite, excuse me, ring.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
it's just
first of
fun.
all, right out of the chute, you'd go, okay, it's lucite, it's a ring, it's mid-century modern. Okay.
Right.
But that color scheme, that sort of tiger color, right? It's got
Right.
the orange and the black and the beige. That's the 1970s. So
Right.
you're out of the 60s, you know, and you're into the 70s, and you're probably sometime between 72 and 78.
Okay.
I could see people putting that also, and this is what I like, because I talk about this a lot. When you have more versatility with items, you could put that on a cord, right?
Yo.
You could put that on a black cord, a choker, and you could actually wear that too. Sort of the way that some of these pieces that are in front of me, like this particular piece, which is this is a clip-on earring, right? Which you actually could take the clip-on earring and you could put that on a cord and wear it like a necklace. Like, you know, you've seen me do this before, but you know, you put it on a necklace and you just let it clip like that. So you could do that too, but that piece you could put on a cord, and I really think that you would be able to see it. Is the back all orange, or does the back have the black on it too?
Correct, all orange.
Okay, yeah, you might be able to do the cord thing, but I
Right.
like that. I like the versatility of that. That piece, I would say somewhere around 20, 25 bucks. What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah,
It's a
because
fun
of
color.
a fun color and because it's vintage.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing the age is really going to be helpful. So materials will relate to age. So think about that when you're thinking about, of course, doing your listings. So when you're listing, if you're a reseller, you want to make sure that you're indicating the age, the time period, because, you know, pieces are very different. Mid-century modern, somebody goes, it's mid-century modern. Okay, well, that's what, from, you know, 1945 after World War II all the way to 1980? Well, the styles change a lot during that time period. So if you can narrow that for your buyers, you know, you're going to be able to, of course, succeed better. And that's what I want you to do. I want you all to succeed. So anyway, you were saying, what else have we got?
Yeah, we've got
You
another
were right about this box, though. I like these pieces thus far.
Yes, yes. It's another J.Crew,
Okay.
and it's a really pretty green on a
I think that's very, very nice. Now, if you look at the way those are set, those prong set pieces, that reminds me of Paloma Picasso, the Tiffany pieces that she's designing for Tiffany. If you see those rings, and you can see them all over right now, they're gemstones, of course, but that is the exact same cabochon round form. And then you have, of course, those prongs, only 4 prongs. And they even gave you a little bit of an area at the bottom, sort of suggesting to get light through.
Correct.
I think that's a nice piece.
It is.
And it has the tag from J.Crew, but it doesn't have the traditional J.Crew clasp.
Correct. So I'm wondering if maybe somebody had broke it and replaced it. Just checking to make sure. Yep, it does say the J.Crew there.
So now this says to me, this might have been, of course, one of the other vendors for J.Crew making this piece. So most of them have that very, very distinctive circular, of course, piece. This, of course, more of a lobster. Okay. But you know what? Either way, both of them are secure clasps. And that's really what you're looking for. I do like this very well. Another statement necklace. And I would probably be in that 50 to 75 range on that.
Wonderful.
I like that.
Yeah, so the next piece, I recognize the M. It's a Madewell bracelet.
Oh, cute.
Yeah,
Cute. So it's got that stylized sort of flower, you know, that sort of stylized flower. And the hinge looks like it's nice. So that's a little more, I'll call it cuffy. It's kind of like a cuff.
correct.
It's not quite a bangle because it doesn't go all the way around.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
And it's
See,
got
now,
the Madewell on there. The
yeah,
M
to
for
me,
Madewell.
yeah, so the Madewell. So to me, I would have to wear that somewhere where I'm not going to do much. You know? You know what I mean? Because you put it on and, you know, it's going to move. So it has to be something maybe you're going to, I don't know, a wedding or some event versus, oh, I'm just wearing it for everyday fun. Because those tend to open and move around a little bit.
Right.
Or maybe it's because I'm Italian, I'm always talking with my hands. Could be that, could be that. So what would you put on that? I would probably be under 20 bucks on that.
Yeah, it's a popular brand. I would say probably $19.99. I would do it.
Okay, okay. So you're doing that. You're doing the get it under a certain price point.
Correct. Yeah. So the next one looks like a pair of earrings. Or nope, it's a necklace.
Okay. It's a necklace, a lavalier necklace. Looks
Correct.
like it's got some a nice piece on it. It looks like it might be on its original card too.
Correct.
All right,
Correct.
well that's nice. I like that. So what have we got? Now, it says it's sterling. It says it's sterling silver. Is it marked?
Correct. I have not seen yet, but you know that scent that you can smell from silver?
You can smell sterling silver, yes.
Correct.
It does have a particular scent, and you start to learn that as you deal with it more and more.
Correct.
I have to say, I like a mark, and I've taught you in the videos about the marks. I like to see a mark.
Correct. It is marked.
Okay, great.
925.
Great.
Yes,
okay.
And Thailand.
Okay, and now remember, you know, the marks, of course, you have to look at them and say, okay, yes, this does match. It is a sterling silver piece. Correct. Is it 18 inches?
It is 16 inches. It looks.
Oh, it's short.
Yes.
Yeah, 16 inches. So it's for very small necks.
Correct.
Well, that's a typical traditional standard 16 inches, 17, 18, you know, but typically 16. So right. I would probably, so for the sterling silver, I'd probably be easily at $100.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
You know, sterling silver isn't nothing.
Right.
I have to say, you're not looking at a high quality gemstone.
Correct.
You could also test it with the Presidium. I'd be very surprised if it's not a crystal.
Right. And then the next piece is a fun fashion bracelet.
And for those of you who don't know what the Presidium is, I didn't mean to do that to you. The Presidium Gemstone Tester, of course, is one of the tools in Dr. Lori's treasure hunt kit, the tool chest, basically, of the treasure hunt tool kit, where you can actually test the gemstones, of course, in your jewelry. And we offer that at drloriv.com. You can go to the specials and shop page, scroll down. You'll see, of course, my recommended products. I get compensation when you purchase a recommended product. One of them is the Presidium Gem Tester. And again, a lot of folks, of course, who follow the videos love it, love it. It's very helpful so you can identify whether or not you have, again, what type of gemstone you might have. You know, do you have iolite? Do you have a garnet? Do you have a ruby? That kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, I love my Presidium. I use it all the time because there's a big difference between if it's a cubic zirconia and if it's a diamond. So it is worth its cost for sure in one transaction.
Well, this is it. You know, if you're doing this full time, or even if you're doing this part time, or even if you're doing it and you're building your own collection, you're not reselling. But for the resellers, it's necessary. Because you really want to be able to say, this is a garnet, I tested it, I know it. Right. You know, and that helps to establish also your business because your buyers will then say, hey, you know what? They're going the extra mile to test it for me.
Correct.
You know, so I like this. I like this.
Yeah. Black beaded, 6-strand, and it's fashion, and they're Aurora borealis, and they're just really pretty.
Aurora borealis, and also faceted, of course, those black stones, of those black faux stones, also faceted. I think of this, and I think of the early 1900s. I think of Downton Abbey.
Yes.
I think of the Edwardian period. The period, of course, the early 1900s, they're going to have like large choker collars and large bracelets like this. And they are different shapes, different facets. And then as you know, you move, and of course, in the early 1900s, these women were not doing a lot, not moving around a lot. But, you know, basically as you move, it just all captures the light. I really like the reflective quality of that. How is that attached? Is it all the multi-strands come together on bars? Okay.
Correct.
Come together on bars. And then there's a toggle. And is there a, I'm not getting it. I'm seeing.
Nope. It is a lobster claw.
It's a lobster. Nice. I like that. I like that. So then the other thing I like about it is, and you can see it the way she's holding it, if you look straight through, right, and you can see that large setting all covered. So the actual piece is sitting in a well of a setting, and then the faux stone goes down, the Aurora borealis crystal goes down into that well, and then the prongs come up. So you don't get as much light from underneath, right, the bracelet, but what you do have is you have, of course, a very nice secure well that the stone is sitting in, less apt to, of course, lose them, because you don't want to lose them. Once you lose them, then you got to get a new one, and that's a whole thing. So I'd probably say in terms of value, based on actual sales records where similar pieces have sold, that bracelet will easily go about $40.
Wow. Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you.
I like that too.
That is great.
And there's stuff that I don't like, right?
Right.
Yeah, but that particular one I think is a nice example. And you looked at all of it to make sure none of the crystals are missing.
Right. There's, so far that I can see, there is not. But I will always go over and second look at it, just to make sure, because sometimes they're so tiny.
Do you count? I see a lot of my resellers will count and tell the buyer in the listing, there are, 85 crystals, that kind of thing. People like that information.
Yep. I will give the millimeter on there with my calipers, and yes, for sure.
Okay. So a lot of information in the listing. And I think, again, that gives sort of a confidence for the potential buyer.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so the next one is a funky ring. I love this. I'm not sure what material it is. It
looks like mother of pearl.
It does.
Yeah. Sometimes the prongs or the setting, a lot of times, much of the time, the prong or the setting really is, again, sort of a secondary design element. It certainly was in that that green J.Crew necklace that we just saw. It was a secondary design element. I think it's really a good design element here too. So it's a ring. Can we see the back? I love the back of everything. You all know that about me. I like the back of a painting. I like the back of a work of art. I like to look at the back, because the back will show you about construction, and construction is usually where the quality happens. How is it going to stay up? Let's see the back of that. Yeah, okay. So what you have actually is the piece is probably glued or adhesive down to that sort of, it looks like a pentagon shape. And then they come back and actually make the ring with another element, and all those prongs connect to the back of the ring.
Correct.
Wow, that's a statement. That's a statement.
It is, and I don't see any. There is a marking. Got to have your decorative.
There you go. Yeah, it is. Look for it.
Yep. Can't see what it says. It's got a lot of wear on it, so I'll probably look under my microscope.
Do you see a lot of pieces that the mark has sort of worn off or almost worn off? I see a lot of that.
Correct. Yeah. Yes.
And I'd have to say that the base metal looks pretty good too.
It does.
Yeah, I think they've done a lot of work on that. I would say that piece, if I had to bet on it, it probably is sterling silver. And I would say value on that, probably $125 for that ring.
Beautiful.
A nice ring.
Beautiful. It is. It's pretty.
Yeah.
So the next piece we got is leather. And it's like a gold tone. It's a Michael Kors.
Michael Kors.
Yep.
I don't always see great quality in some of these.
I agree.
I can't say that all of them hold up to and stand the test of time.
Right.
Right. But Michael Kors, very popular brand and a very resaleable brand.
Correct.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look at those areas. It kind of looks like It's got a little bit of this, almost like a screw element in the corners, but I can't really seem to get it. A little bit of
Yes,
reflection here.
correct.
Yes, 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 yes. So suggestive of the other big brand names, like the Bulgari, you know, like the Cartier, like the Tiffany's, like the Chanel and the Givenchy, that kind of thing. So
Right.
I like this. And that's kind of what we see of Michael Kors. Michael Kors, I kind of see Michael Kors sort of the way Coach has approached this,
Right.
sort of like affordable luxury kind of thing.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's leather, and then it's got this element that has the crystal faceted and then the gold around it, and it's just a big cuff.
Yes. Leather.
I like it. I don't think I personally wear it, but I do think that it's definitely saleable.
Correct.
Yeah, resell probably somewhere between 35 and 50 bucks.
Nice.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Now, would you be able to command these numbers in your particular store? I'm basing it on actual sales records, but you know, all of you resellers know your clientele well.
Correct. Yeah. Plus, you know, I can list it higher and give best offer, and that way I can barter.
Right. So it's always a good idea to negotiate. You know, Dr. Lori says always negotiate.
Correct.
You know,
Correct.
so you want to think about that. You want to think about that. And you know,
Right.
the conversation is something a lot of buyers, that's what they like.
Right.
They like to have the exchange, right? Do you find that, Deborah?
I do, especially on YouTube. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And Deborah, of course, sells at Timeless Jewel by Deborah on
Correct.
YouTube. And these things are available for sale through your other Etsy stores and eBay and such, but also
Correct.
through YouTube on Timeless Jewel by Deborah. But I have to say that I think a lot of that is also that relationship is important to the buyers.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So the
But
next
what I
piece-
want to make sure you all know is what to look for. So when you see these elements like that little round screw element where a firm like Michael Kors is trying to look like some of the upper echelon firms, the well-established firms for years and years and decades, you know, I want you to understand that that's important points. What to look for is going to be extremely important because once you start to identify those quality elements, you're going to be able to spot what's valuable if you're at the thrift store or the flea market or the antique shop.
Right.
Nice.
Yep. So next up, it looks like it's a copper ring.
Is it gunmetal? Show me the back.
It sort of looks like it. Yes.
See, yeah. See, now it looks like it could. Is it marked at all? Because it has a silver. It has sort of a silver gunmetal tone.
Right. No, it's not marked, and it's definitely a fashion.
And it's what?
Fashion, fast fashion, as I call it.
Oh.
It's not. It doesn't look like it's a gemstone.
No.
But I will definitely test it. I test everything.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't hurt to test everything.
Correct.
I would say no. It does not look like. It doesn't read like a gemstone at all. It has very little sparkle, very little shine at all.
Very
The
dirty.
other thing about it is I have to say it's quite dense, but don't let that fool you because, you know, many authentic real emeralds are dense, right? You look through them and there's not much happening, just looks like sort of cloudy. But I would test those. And then let's assume that you did test it and it's not a gemstone.
Okay.
I'm not going much more than 20 bucks on that ring. I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
I will say that in terms of the style, that geometric style where you have, you know, two of one color and then one going the other way.
Correct.
If you can show us the ring, they'll understand what I'm saying as I'm talking with my hands. So, you know, where you start to see the two sort of gold tone stones horizontally oriented, and then the other one is vertically oriented. Well, actually, they're all horizontally oriented. The other one's a different color. But, you know, in the late 19th century, in the 1890s and early 1890s, a lot of folks wore very, very dark jewelry. It was very en vogue in what's called the grotesque or the Gothic revival time period.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, it's probably reviving that, even though this is a contemporary ring.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Great.
All right.
Wonderful.
Okay.
It's another ring.
This is a good box, Deborah.
It is. That's why I like these. They're hard to
Yeah.
get, though.
Yeah. So why are they hard to get? Talk about that for a minute.
It is an online consignment store, and you never know when they're going to drop. So they will have maybe, I don't even know how many, maybe 10, but you don't know. And so when you're on the website, as soon as you see it, you click it. And by the time you check out, they could be all sold out. So
Oh,
kind
I
of like a
see.
shop Goodwill, but you don't know when it's going to come up. Whereas shop Goodwill or Goodwill Blue Box, you know, it's every Friday.
It's every Friday at a certain time at 6 p.m. Well, now it's 6 p.m. at the
Correct.
time of this taping. So a couple of other things. So you basically, this idea is a very smart marketing idea on ThredUp's side, because what they're doing is they're saying you got to always be on our site because you don't know when the good stuff's coming.
Right.
Right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that keeps people loyal.
That's for sure.
It does. It does.
It's
something that you guys might want to think about with your reselling sites. Right? You want to think about, how can I keep these folks on my sites? Right? How can I keep them at my store as opposed to going all over the place? Well, one of the ways is, of course, to offer something like that, because people love the treasure hunt. They love the surprise, right? The unboxing is so much fun with you, Deborah. Let's see what else we got.
And this is a fun ring. I love this design.
Okay. All right. So, and this looks like it's reading sort of, it looks like it's silver, but it also has sort of a reddish color.
Correct.
Yeah. Like a coppery color.
That's what I assume as well.
Yeah.
And I don't see any maker's marks.
At all.
No.
So let me see the back. Kind of reading like a studio piece.
Correct.
Yeah. So studio piece. Now, when I say it's reading like a studio piece, to my eye, to my educated eye, what I'm looking at is I'm saying, okay, somebody was in an actual jewelry making studio and made this. It wasn't manufactured and made in large numbers and sold out by, you know, a firm like a Michael Kors or, you know, like a Brighton's or something like that. So it's not sort of a factory produced piece. It's a piece that's done possibly one of a kind or one of very few done in a studio by an artist who also designed the piece and also made the piece. So that looks like an example of jewelry casting, which I had an opportunity to do in my education too. So when you actually cast the piece, you carve it out of wax and then you put it into a centrifuge with, of course, the molten metal. And then you have, of course, the casting process. That's a nice piece using lost wax. That's a nice piece. I like it. I'm a little upset that it's not marked. I kind of wish it were sterling silver so we can put a bigger number on it, but I'd probably say around 30 bucks.
All right.
Yeah.
Not bad. They're earrings. I'm just holding up the one.
Okay, this, if I were looking at this, this looks a little cloudy to me, but I bet you will find that this piece has some pretty good attributes.
Okay.
I don't mind this piece. I also suggest, like I said, suggestive of that very popular Paloma Picasso for Tiffany design with those 4 very indicative prongs. And it looks like it actually looks like it's gold plated.
Okay.
Can I see the back of it?
Correct. Let me take
I know it's hard for you to do with your hands. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Take the backing off there.
Any mark on that? Because I like the way that piece is set. I like that setting. It has a bar at the back, and then it has sort of the round element. So when you look at it from the back and the post goes right through that back bar, that piece could be a good piece.
Yeah, there is some kind of marking. It's really faint again and dirty, so I will have to clean it up.
Okay.
But it's
so
really
I would say that piece is looking like it probably has some promise.
Right.
And I have to say the way in which the back bar is, that back bar where the post is sitting, that's nice, as opposed to the very inexpensive way. See, there's a lot of metal there.
Right.
There's a lot of metal there. I would definitely double check that. I might even test the metal. So they're just 2 posts, 2 buttons, basically.
Correct.
Yeah, I like those pierced earrings. Now, a lot of people, do you have a problem? A lot of people don't have pierced ears.
No, actually, but I did find that a lot of people are wearing clip-ons. They're loving clip-ons.
They're loving clip-ons because they're easy to switch out too, right? And I don't know about you, but everybody loses the back.
That's right.
You're always losing the back, you know? I don't know. They fall off. They're hard, so the clip-ons are nice. I like those too. So what would you put on those? Because these become a little bit of a puzzle until you get out the Presidium.
Correct. If they are a stone and gold plated, I would probably put about $70 on them.
Yes, right.
And
I
if
was
they're
gonna say
not, I would,
yeah.
if they're fashion, I'd do about 24.
25, 24. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
So I would probably be at 75 once you do the Presidium test
Okay.
with gold plating. I have to say that I do like the prongs and I do like the look because
Right.
they're kind of classic. They're not
Right.
they're not just a button. They're kind of classic. I like those very well.
Right.
I like this curated ThredUp 15-piece box.
Yep.
I
That
like
fits
it.
in.
I
Yep.
like the way in which you have designs that relate to all different time periods, design ideas, and of course, eras.
Yeah, it's a fun box. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get. Hey,
For sure.
Deborah from
Yeah.
Timeless Jewel by Deborah, thanks so much for being with me. We enjoy the unboxing.
Thank you, Dr. Lori.
My pleasure. I love the treasure hunt.
Thank you.
Thanks for being with me. I'll see you next time.